Welcome to the Art of Living Free series with Anthony Silard. We would love your support to keep these valuable videos and podcasts free for everyone. To make a donation, please visit theartoflivingfree.org. 100% of all proceeds go to nonprofit education programs. Today, Dr. Silard explores, do we feel trapped by our phones or do we enjoy them? Part 1.
Hello, I'm Anthony Silard and welcome to the Art of Living Free. Today we're going to talk about whether you enjoy your phone or feel trapped by your phone. In other words, do you feel empowered by your phone or trapped by it, or for many of us, both? Let's take a look. So about 8 years ago, a friend of mine was in France having dinner with his wife in a restaurant, and he looked up and noticed that everyone in the restaurant was looking at their phones. And so he made a big deal of this and told me about it. And it's interesting because now that's not really news, right? That's what we see all the time. That's kind of like saying, hey, I went to a baseball game and the fans stood up and cheered, right? We don't even talk about that because that's the norm. Well, that's actually becoming the norm now in our society, right? We go to restaurants and people are on their phones everywhere, in the metro, trains and buses and so forth. But back then it was surprising to him. So I told him I was writing this book, Screened In, The Art of Living Free in the Digital Age. And then he said to me, well, are you sure that that's something people want, is to be on their phones less? Because it seems like they really enjoy it. So he went on then to say, actually, phones are like legal heroin. Like people are addicted, but they're happily addicted. That got me thinking a lot about it. I did some research and I found a study by Kelly McGonagall, who's a psychologist at Stanford University. And she says that people have a pathological relationship with their devices. They don't feel just addicted to their devices, but trapped. So let's take a look at that. So let's think back to our smartphones. Where do they come from? So Steve Jobs at the Mac convention 2007 in his trademark black turtleneck, he says, once in a while along comes an invention that changes our way of life. And this is what we have today. Apple has reinvented the phone. Okay? Well, he was correct. It did change our way of life. Now let's take a look. Do we really enjoy our phones or do we feel trapped by them? Well, first of all, we wouldn't use our phones a lot unless they really offered something that was really exciting and really useful that we couldn't find somewhere else. Well, that's for sure what's happening. There are things we can access on our phones, like you can access Waze or Google Maps and find your directions to a party or a restaurant or wherever you want to go. You can listen to music, you can download videos. Just think before to Encyclopedia Britannica. I don't know if any of you guys remember that, but I remember as a kid, we would have this salesperson come and sell us Encyclopedia Britannica, and it would be a way to show our status as a family that we have 26 volumes of Encyclopedia Britannica in our living room. It was kind of like furniture because no one really looked at them. I tried to read it a few times, but it was a little bit much for me. So anyway, we have that now on Wikipedia. So if you want to find out, who was the first Prime Minister of India? Well, you don't go and try to find, where's the I, volume 13 in Encyclopedia Britannica. No, you just type in first Prime Minister of India. You don't even need to go to an encyclopedia or Wikipedia. You just type it into Google and boom, there it is. Oh, okay, it was Nehru was the first Prime Minister of India. So we get all of this information so rapidly. And that's why computers that are now in portable in the form of our phones and our laptops and tablets are so useful for us, right? So let's think about where this started. The Turing machine during World War II, Alan Turing, British guy, he essentially invented this computer with code-breaking power. Now this did something that was unparalleled. It started to break Nazi codes. Right down to discovering direct orders from Hitler that the British were able to find, or that the position of a U-boat that was going to destroy a supply ship coming in to supply the troops in Britain, or supply food and other things. So at the height of World War II, the Turing machine was breaking 84,000 Nazi codes every month. By some estimates, the Turing machine stopped World War II 2 years earlier than it would have ended otherwise. So clearly, the computer is a force to be reckoned with, including our phones, which are basically portable computers. So by the way, what did Turing receive in exchange for this valuable service and saving, by some accounts, millions of lives? Well, he was charged by the British government in 1952 with homosexuality, and he was forced to consume estrogen, which is a chemical castration agent. A year later, he committed suicide. So in 2009, British Prime Minister Gordon Brown apologized on behalf of the British government for, in quotes, the appalling way that Turing was treated. Queen Elizabeth II granted Turing a posthumous pardon another 4 years later. So that's the origins of our modern computers, Alan Turing. If you want more, go see The Imitation Game. It's a fantastic film that really kind of highlights that whole process of Turing's invention. Okay, so what are we going to do now? Are we going to go fully analog? Clearly, that's not an option. That would be like going into an African safari park without a vehicle, right? That wouldn't be a very smart thing to do. I'm just going to go walk around and see what animals are there. By the way, I know someone who did that. Me, believe it or not. I'm lucky to be alive. I got chased up a tree in Uganda by Cape buffalo, by a herd of them. So I don't recommend that. So going fully analog, not a good idea, right? So we need to use our phones. So the question is, how are we going to use our phones so we don't feel trapped by them?
Life offers us many challenges, and theartoflivingfree.org offers new ways of thinking so we can see these challenges from a new angle and overcome them. Whether it's Anthony Silard's free blog, video or podcast series, his book, Screened In: The Art of Living Free in the Digital Age, or personalized courses, theartoflivingfree.org will help you refine your life vision and then transform it into action. Find out more at theartoflivingfree.org.